Hello everyone, this is Matt. I just want to take a minute to demonstrate to you how you can control the order of these modules on your home page, and also how you can remove one from the home page. That's perhaps the simplest of the steps that I'm going to show you in this video demonstration, and we'll do that in a minute. But the first thing I want to impress upon your mind is that on this website, in the layout, the way that the site is laid out is there are, if you think about little sections of the web page that can be used as like containers. That's probably the best way I can think of to describe it. So the site page is laid out in sections, and this gray section from right here underneath this main menu down to the top of this module, that is the content top section, and then the section that goes from here, from the top of this module down to the top of this footer, or the bottom of the gray area, that is a separate section, and it's called content bottom. So you're going to see what that means when we get into moving some of these modules around. And to kick that off, let's just start off by hiding this carousel module. Now this module is normally used for manufacturing logos. If you sell products that are made by multiple manufacturers, you can use this carousel module to highlight some of their brands and their logos, and you can even put links in here. But this particular site that I am using here does not have multiple brands, and so I'm going to remove this from the home page layout so that it doesn't show up. And to do that, we're going to go into the dashboard, we'll go to extensions and modules, and when you click that, you get a list of all the modules that are on that main page. We're looking for the carousel module, and so if we edit the carousel, we'll see that it's using a banner module, and it's got some settings here, but the one we're interested in is this enabled setting. If we just change that to disabled, it will no longer show up after we save it. But while we're in here, I want to show you this position. This position references the section of the page that I was just talking about a moment ago, and as you'll see here, it's assigned to be in the content bottom section. And so what that means is, along with this category groups module, it is down here in the bottom. I'm going to show you why that matters here in a minute, but let's save this carousel now that we've disabled it. When we save that, you'll see now when I refresh the page, there is no carousel module on our home page, which leads us to our next step. I would like for these cuts for many interests, I would like for this module to be second on the page, and I would like for this slideshow to be first on the page, and then I would like to have the featured modules to be third, where it is right now, and then I would like to have the latest additions at the bottom. So that's how I would like to have it arranged. Well, as you're going to see here in a minute, we're going to run into a problem trying to get things in that order based on how we have things set up right now. So let's start out by moving the slideshow up to the top. Okay, so in this top module, we have, or in the top section of the page, I should say, we have these three modules. Well, let's go look and see how they're arranged in the admin area of our database. So we're in the admin area. I'm going to go to extensions, and then I want to go to modules, and then I want to just take a look and see. Latest is coming up first, so let's take a look at how it's set up. Okay, everything looks good here. It's in the top content top, it's enabled, and it's in sort order 0. So the main thing we want to look at is that sort order. Okay, now let's look at the slideshow. Let's see what its sort order is. And its sort order is also 0, which explains why. See, they're both in the top the content top section, and they're both set at sort order 0. And when Opencart encounters two modules in the same area that have the same sort order, it uses the name of the module, is what I believe it uses, to sort them on. And since slideshow comes, the S comes later in the alphabet than L, then that's why the slideshow shows up later. Let's see if I'm remembering that correctly by going to the modules and looking at the featured. Now, if featured is set at anything other than 0, then it should come up third. And what do you know? The featured one is set with a 2. So that explains why it's coming up third, even though it starts with an F. Because if they all were set to 0, you would think, well, it should be, the featured should be the first one because it starts with an F. So hopefully you're starting to get the sense of how easily this can get confusing because of all the different things that Opencart looks at when it tries to order these things. It looks at what modules are all in the same part of the page. You can see cuts for many interests. This one's coming up fourth, and we could change it to, in fact, it's probably set to 0. Let's just take a look and see if that's true. Catalog extensions is what we want to look at. Extensions, modules, category groups. What's its sort order? 0. However, the reason why it always comes up fourth, even though it's got a 0, is because it's set to the bottom of the page. And so here's what I'm going to do to simplify this. I'm going to move all of these modules to the content top. Okay, so they're all in the same section. And I'm going to save that. And now we're going to see a noticeable difference right off the bat, because this section right here should be up here at the top now because I moved it to the top of the page. It's set to a 0 sort order, and the letter C comes before the letter L in the alphabet. So if I refresh this, you see cuts for many interests is now the top. However, that's not the way we wanted it, right? We want the slideshow first, then we want this, then we want to have featured, and then we want to have latest. So what's the easiest way to order these? Well, from my experience, the best way to do this is to give each module a unique sort order number and put some spaces, leave gaps so that you can insert other modules in between each of them. Well, let me demonstrate what I'm talking about to make it a little bit simpler. If I want to have the slideshow first, then it needs to have the lowest number. of all the ones that are in this section of the page. If I want this one to be second, it needs to have the second lowest number. If I want this one to be last, it needs to have the highest number. And if I want this one to be third, it needs to have the third lowest or the second highest of the four that are on this page. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to go in and put each one of these with its own unique sort order. And when we do that, I'm going to, so the first one we want at the top is the slideshow. So when we do that, I'm going to set it to the lowest possible value that I can get. And it's already there. 0, it's in content top, save. Now the second one I want is the category groups. So it's going to have, what do you think? What do you think we should put here? Well, you may be saying put a 1, and that would work. It would accomplish what we want. But I'm going to put a 4 there. And the reason why will become clear here in a minute if you haven't already reasoned out why I'm doing it that way. Okay, then the third one we want to be the featured area, and so it needs to have a sort order of higher than 4, and I'm just going to make it 8. I'm going to put it at an 8, and I'm going to save it. And then the last one that I want on the page is latest, and I'm going to edit that one, and I'm going to change its sort order to 12. Alright, so now when we look at the front, because we've got these in the order that we want them in, and they're all in the same section, you'll see we have them set up exactly like we wanted. Now here's the value of leaving spaces in between the sort order numbers. Let's say I wanted to add that carousel module back to my home page. I can put it anywhere in here that I want it. I can put it between these two. I can put it between these two. I can put it between these two because there are numbers available in the sort order to do that. So let me just demonstrate. I'm going to put it right under the slideshow. That was the carousel. So I'm going to edit that. And I'm going to remember, if it's at the content bottom, it's going to show up always at the bottom. So I want to move it to the top, and I want to enable it. And then I want the sort order to be somewhere between 0 and 4, but neither one of those numbers. So I'll make it a 2. Put it right in between, and then save them. And you'll see that now that module shows up right under the slideshow. And if I ever wanted to move it, all I have to do is change that sort order on the carousel module. And remember, my next one was 4, so if I change this to 6, it will move it below the cuts for many interest module, but above the featured module. And when I refresh this page, this should move down to here now. And that's what it does. So hopefully you can see the value of not using consecutive numbers in your sort order, because it allows you flexibility down the road if you ever want to add a module that's not already on the page. So I'll just disable this again and save our changes, go back to the front, refresh the page, and this module should not be displayed. And we have our modules arranged in the proper order, displayed on the home page, just like we planned. So thanks for watching. I hope that helps.